Academy was established with seed funding from Tri New Zealand as a collab between the two clubs, which is just so awesome to see the clubs working together for the benefit of the youth, juniors. It's incredible. What we wanted to do is provide weekly opportunities for the athletes, and it's we started out with a vision, but it's sort of grown since then, because of circumstances more than anything. We discovered Troy McAllister from who had led the 9 to 13-year-old group in Canterbury incredibly successfully, and had moved to Auckland.
Scottie, how are you doing?
Yeah, good mate, good.
Right, so the way I start these podcasts is firstly trying to remind myself when we first met. And if I'm not mistaken, I'd just become race director for the Takapuna Swim Run. And so that would have been 2011 or 2012. And you approached me saying, "Hey, I'm a photographer, would like to do some camera work for your race. Do you mind if I come along?" And I said, "Yeah, sure. Just post it on Facebook." And then ever since, so that was 14 years ago now. Ever since, whenever I've gone to a triathlon, I've seen you there. I know you've taken photographs at the World Champs, and you also do photography for other sports events as well. So, Scottie, what was the first time you got involved in triathlon as a photographer, at least?
It was actually in Wales, of all places, to do the long course weekend, 3-day event, where they split it up. That was my first. I think it was 210, and then I gave up everything in the UK and moved back to New Zealand for 2011 for the Rugby World Cup, to work at that. And I was a bit bored with rugby, to be honest, and discovered triathlon and haven't looked back.
Brilliant. Yeah. So, and you're still doing you're still involved in events throughout the country. What's the last big event that you've done?
Oh, crikey. What's the last? Well, it depends what you call a big event. So I've been to pretty much every triathlon in New Zealand, some around the world, um, including Youth Olympics and others. But the last event I went to, oh, I don't even know. There's been so many. I go to regularly. I go to Suffer every year. Have done for
Yeah.
the last since 2011. And Blue Lake Festival, Kinloch, crikey, what else is there? There's just, yeah, too many to name really.
But you went
But
overseas for the swim tour. What was the swim tour you did?
yeah, so every winter I go over to the islands for racing and also for taking swimmers. So we go to Aitaki and Tonga and Tahiti and Moorea and numerous others, and cycle tours in Samoa, swim tours in Samoa, all sorts of different things like that as well, which gets me out of New Zealand for the winter, which is pretty nice. Less so this year, concentrating on other things, including the academy.
Yeah, we'll get onto the Youth Academy shortly. You also do like one-on-one photo shoots for athletes. I know like Yarrow and a few of our athletes you've done photo shoots for before, and a few of the pros. You still doing that?
Yeah, it's I really enjoy creating. Really, it doesn't really matter what it is, but I really enjoy shooting and creating. And with sports and being an event, you're very reactive to what happens on the field of play. So being able to create concepts and shoots and see them through to production, is a different aspect of it, which I really enjoy as well. So just, yeah, anything creative really.
Yeah, no, one of the thing I found out, so I've got myself a drone. I've had it for a few years, and I love doing drone footage of the farm. Almost every day I've got it up to check the cattle and all that kind of stuff. And it's really easy. I can do long shots, and developing shots of over the forest and that kind of stuff. And I've done some YouTubes on it, but then I've also done some drone footage of some of the events. And one thing I find really, really hard is it all happens so fast that you've got to position yourself ready to follow an athlete or come in with a. You can't do it. There's no second go, right? That's the
No,
thing with sport.
no, and it's you get to understand with photography, videography, drones, whatever. You get to understand what works and what doesn't, and it's almost paste and repeat. But at the same time, it's trying to find those different angles and give a different aspect. The drone has changed everything. Um, Makes it, even with the algorithm of social media now, like creating different stuff actually gets more attention. So it is about getting that um, different angle, but it's also about from for me, who's like I don't go to events and take photos of every competitor and then sell them. That's just, I'd get bored shitless, to be honest. It's about trying to tell the story.
Yeah,
And to me, the drone is just one additional tool to be able to tell part of the story. You
yeah,
can't tell the whole story of the event through a drone. So you've got to have those close-ups. You've got to have, photos. You've got to have all sorts of different aspects of it. Even right now, this with social media, everything is about people telling their why and getting in and telling their story directly to you. That's really popular in the algorithm right now.
yeah. Especially Instagram, I've been told is the talking heads. I've just done a podcast for my book, and just the talking head shorts, they seem to be going like ripper. But the
Yeah,
long form podcast, yeah, I get a few views, but not that many.
yeah.
But
That's yeah, shortcut. Yeah, short videos work really well. So yeah,
yeah,
it's good.
and I'm going to be using quite a lot of your material in the near future. So Scotty, you 5 years ago now, mate, we did the Kiwi Man together. So I did the Kiwi Man double, and it was a big event for me, and I had a reason for doing it, and that was to write my book and to have something to promote. And I knew I couldn't really just use the finisher picks stuff because it's all, like you say, it's formulaic. It's the same shot every year. In fact, the Ironman 70.3, I've got like 5 shots of me on exactly the same spot on Lake Road, right? Which is okay, different tri suit every year. But you followed me around, and we've got gigabytes of images, of video footage, and it tells a whole story of that 2 day race. And so I blended it together for a video on YouTube, but I'm also using that for assets to promote my book. So tell me about your day in Kiwiman. So I was on the bike doing my thing for 2 days. What do you remember from that day?
Oh, it's a bit of a blur, to be honest. It happened so slowly but so quickly. And that's the same with any event. Like I'm used to Ironman and other races, even the sprint races. Just it's a blur. Um, but it's all about trying to find the right light and find the right angles and trying to show what's going to contribute to the story.
Mm.
A mixture of videos and photos on that occasion. But the technology's changed things as well. What's happening now is though is it's all about the now. We live in the now, and people want to see it straight away. So that content you're going to use is valuable to tell the story of and to help you with your books and everything else, and to lift your profile. But it's got to get out there now, and
Yeah.
that's the real hard part is having a balance of shooting and posting, which is
Yeah.
the challenge.
Yeah. It's a challenge I found. I've got heaps of material, but it's no use sat on my hard drive. It needs to be out in the real world. But I mean, also those images are great because it was 5 years ago and I was a bit younger and fitter and leaner. So I'm using that as yesterday. But yeah, well, I really enjoyed it. I was glad to have you there. It was meaningful for the reason I was doing Kiwi Man to have a dedicated photographer on me all both days. That was brilliant. So another thing you do, Scotty, is you major error, rookie error. You went to a Auckland City Tri Club meeting, and you then got voluntold and you ended up on the committee of the Auckland City Tri Club. So what do you do with the club over there?
So yeah, I'm just a supporter really. I'm on the committee and help try and get members and try and get the stories out there and build the digital audience as well as being on site for the events. But it's a good club. It's very different than North Harbour in terms of they don't really have like a central coaching area, but it's a very tight club as well in terms of online and pretty successful recently in terms of numbers, if that's what you measure success at. And like getting people to compete at the events or getting members, having members compete at the events, especially in long course, has been very popular. We're just trying to get, build more, build a closer community, get more people involved through Tri-Starter programs and other things which I've helped create. But my job is very much online. So I'm the person who, any posts you see from Auckland City Tri Club come through me, well, are put up by me.
And
yeah,
very prolific. And you're coming to our AGM next week, so be careful because we're looking for a social person.
no
So,
problem.
and that leads me on to what we've been involved in together in the last year. So I was coming down to Auckland about exactly a year ago and said, "Hey, Scottie, let's catch up for coffee." You wouldn't believe it. I'm now president of the North Harbour Tri Club. And you said, well, it's funny because I'm in Auckland City. And I think it's been really valuable that our two clubs collaborate more because Auckland is one city. It's not quite the same with, say, Wellington or Tauranga, but it's the same people that can jump the bridge and attend each other's events easily. And I think both clubs will benefit from us collaborating. And the first thing that we've been doing together, the first main thing, is this youth academy that we're just at the end of the first term that we've run it jointly. Before that, it was Try and Z. So talk me through how that's been going.
Yeah, so the academy was established with seed funding from Try New Zealand as a collab between the two clubs, which is just so awesome to see the clubs working together for the benefit of the youth, juniors. It's incredible. What we wanted to do is provide weekly opportunities for the athletes. And we started out with a vision, but it's sort of grown since then because of circumstances more than anything. We discovered Troy McAllister who had led the 9 to 13-year-old group in Canterbury incredibly successfully and had moved to Auckland. So we were able to bring him on board with the academy and expand the reach we had of athletes, which has been really good, and I think it's going to be key to the success of the academy and the clubs. We looked at it as well as the other thing we looked at is as well. There's a few gaps in the system in terms of the kids, the athletes. At the moment, there's different goals. We know that they just want to race. At the moment, they can represent their school, they can represent their club, they can represent New Zealand. But as I say, they just want the opportunity to race more. The racing opportunities that they've got in New Zealand for juniors right now is Try New Zealand have a really it's getting better established, and it's just been announced that the new Tri Series for the season has just come out, 5 races across the season for 2026-27. So there's the opportunity for juniors to race in those nationally, compete nationally. There's also for athletes who just want to stick to Auckland, there's the College Sport Auckland events, which is a 3-race series actually run by Auckland City Tri Club in collab with College Sport. And that's for anyone who wants to compete for their school. The gaps there's those two events don't go down to the 9-year-old age group. They're only for secondary schools children, really. And there's no clear local pathway for kids coming out of the Weet-Bix Triathlon Series. We've now got the training environment, and we've got the races. Potentially, we've got more races that don't really have an exposure. They're all part of our local community, but we need to drag more kids to them. North Harbour Swim Run Series is a great example of that. How can we grab more people towards that series? Because it is a fantastic series. Yep. So what Gareth and I have sat down and worked out is that we wanted to have the Auckland Junior Tri Series. We didn't want to reinvent the wheel. We didn't want to create more work for either club. But what we could do is give points to certain races, and have, giving the kids more reasons to race, and get more people coming to those events. So that's pretty much what we're looking at.
Brilliant. Well, yeah, from my perspective, it's been great to see both coaches on Saturday morning. I've actually run one myself as well when Liam was racing in Australia. And the kids are enthusiastic, they're committed, and the numbers are growing. And I think still opportunity to grow further. I'd like to see a few dozen every Saturday morning. And that gives a commitment and consistency. And then we can key it off different races throughout the season, like you say. So the duathlon, the swim run series, the Coe swim series, and that it will self-perpetuate. More people will race, they'll enjoy it, they'll want to get better, so they'll train more. There'll be more people training, so it's more fun, so that'll bring more people, which brings more people to the race, which makes it more fun. And year by year, we're going to start growing this. So it's going to be a long arc effort, and we're seeking funding from sponsors, and we've done some fundraising from selling used gear, and we're going to do the same again at the National Sprint Duathlon in September. And that's so we can afford the cost of running this and bringing the coaches in. And I hope that it gives kids an opportunity to love triathlon, not necessarily be great at it, even though everyone will become better at it, but they'll enjoy it because we'll have a structured way of learning how to get the best out of the sport. And sometimes if you don't have a coach, you get a bit lost and it's not fun if you're struggling. But also at the pinnacle, this is how we create our future champions. And some of our champions have started through these youth programs like the Weet-Bix.
Yeah, absolutely. There's lots of opportunities there. Some of the highlights have been of the first or the second term, which was when we took over outside of Tri New Zealand, has been the real strong community support. The gear sale, having people provide us gear, give gear, to buy gear, that's enabled us to help build up a bit of pot of money so that we can use that in the future. We've had a couple of facilities, including the new kart sport track. We've had V-Bike step up and open their doors. We've had all sorts of different things in that aspect, but the community support has been really good. What we need, though, is we need people to help spread that message of what we're trying to achieve. And we've got other things happening, like we've got some new partners, as you say, joining in. We've got some things to announce that in that respect. So just keep an eye on the socials. But just help us spread the word.
Yeah, and so the benefit to anyone who's doing the youth or any parents who wants their kids to come along to this is you become the average of the people around you. And the more we can create a critical mass, it's going to generate some camaraderie, it's going to generate community. But ultimately, we're going to see more youth get involved in the sport.
Yeah. One of the other aspects of it, because this is about building community, and that's something I'm big on. We want to bring in some of the this people who have succeeded recently or at the top of their junior game. And we want to bring them into the conversation and have them at training, even pay them to be at training to be, sub coaches and actually help them with their coaching licenses through Tri New Zealand, so that they then can develop another feather to their cap, but also and get more skills, but they also understand, the sense of community and growth and encourage other young kids and, show them the pathway to success. Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you, Scottie. So, you've come to the North Harbour Tri Club a few times. This is going to go on the North Harbour Tri Club website, the YouTube channel, and elsewhere. But tell me a bit about what you've seen with the North Harbour Tri Club when you've come down to take photo shoots and when you've seen the athletes there.
Oh, you guys have always, well, you guys, I didn't say that.
You guys, yeah.
Cut.
Yeah, I'll limit to that one.
Yeah. What have I seen? So North Harbour Tri Club's always been a strong club. One of the highlights for me being involved in the club was the 2012 World Champs, and seeing the youth run around as a community, supporting each other. It was just, that was a highlight for me. Seeing such a strong community of people, or athletes, supporting each other, and I still know some of those people, and the connections are still strong. It's a lifetime, friendship that just will never end because they go through so much together, and it's incredibly strong, and that's what we're trying to build with the academy.
Yeah. Okay, Scottie, thank you very much. That was our next episode of the Behind the Athletes, but this time it's behind the lens of photographer Scottie T, Scott Taylor. Thank you, Scottie, for what you've done for our clubs over the last 15 years since you came back from the UK, and long may it continue.